As a warning, there are spoilers in this video, so if you have not watched Game of Thrones up to Season 7 or read the leaks, please do not watch this video further. Again, spoilers ahead. Proceed with caution. Lethargic Sloth here, and today we're going to be talking about the Game of Thrones Season 7 death predictions. I am a huge fan of Game of Thrones, so occasionally here I'll make some videos about Game of Thrones. So if you enjoy the topic, please subscribe or feel free to comment. I want to hear your opinion on who you think is going to die this season, Season 7, Game of Thrones, which starts tonight. I wanted to make sure I got this out before the season premiere, so first off, we are going to go with Benjen Stark. Now, I don't know if Benjen is actually alive, if there is part of him that's still alive and he's working to help his family, or if he is working for the Night King and he's misleading Bran in order to help the Night King get through the wall. I'm not sure. But whether or not Benjen is actually alive, he's either already helping the Night King or he will die and then become a White and be in the Night King's army. So I just think it's inevitable that Benjen goes that route. The next character I have dying is Sweet Robin. Now, Sweet Robin's pretty epic. He's very strong. He's a master archer. He's great with the ladies. What reason would we ever have for Sweet Robin to die? Well, as we're getting into the end game here, the great houses are all seemingly teaming up, other than ones that are still warring. Obviously the Starks and the Lannisters, Dany, the Lannisters. They're coming together and they're turning around and realizing that they need to be facing this great threat to the north. Well, the Vale is a society of knights and warriors, but Sweet Robin's leadership is not really needed anymore. It wasn't really needed in the first place, because you kind of had Littlefinger running the show. So I think Sweet Robin will die, potentially at the hands of Littlefinger, so the Vale can come in and join the North in fighting the White Walkers for next season. Obviously the Vale and the Starks work together to defeat the Boltons, so I think there'll be more of that, but I think Littlefinger will have his dirty little hands all over, and Sweet Robin might be Littlefingered at the end. Next, we're going to go with Olenna Tyrell. Some of the houses are going to be completely wiped out. The Tyrells are pretty much there. The Queen of Thorns remains, but for how much longer, I don't know. I think her time will come in Season 7. And speaking of which, houses getting wiped out, the Sand Snakes are my next prediction. The Dorne storyline has been pretty botched throughout. It is 100% certain that Ellaria Sand will be killed. She should be captured, and Cersei is going to want to destroy her for what happened to her daughter. So Ellaria Sand has no chance of surviving this season. I also believe in the leaks that 2 of the Sand Snakes will die. 2 will be captured. Obviously Ellaria will be captured and then killed by Cersei as potentially a wedding gift by Euron, but Tyene will also be captured, and if one has a chance to survive, it would be Tyene, but I don't see that happening. I think they will all die. Dorne, just like Highgarden, will be completely decimated. Next, we have Edison Tullet and the Night's Watch. I can't see a scenario where the Night's Watch doesn't get completely decimated. I think the end of the season, you have the White Walker army descending on the Castle Black, and all of the remaining Night's Watch just get completely decimated, wiped out. I can't say whether the wall is coming down or not, but you probably have the Night's Watch in the last episode of the season getting decimated, and the Night King looking triumphantly into Westeros from the north, coming in, and everybody from the Night's Watch getting potentially raised to fight with the Night King as they continue to move south. Next, we're going to have Beric Dondarrion and Thoros of Myr. I do believe the leaks about them going up north to grab a white to prove the existence of the undead army. And I think Beric and Thoros will be casualties in this. Beric, again, with George R.R. Martin's statements that he's raised by fire, his heart's not beating, and he's actually a fire wight. So is this a death? Well, he might already be undead and walking around, animated corpse, with few memories, diminishing memories of who he formerly was, which unfortunately seems to be what's happening with Jon as well, which makes a really interesting endgame there, potentially. But I think these two will be completely wiped out during the expedition. Next, we're going to go with Randyll Tarly, Sam's loving father. Well, Sam is a huge part of the endgame, so you can't have Randyll Tarly hunting him the entire time. I think there'll be anger, and potentially Randyll will be looking for Sam, but then be recruited to fight with Jaime against Daenerys, and Randyll will be charred by dragons. Yeah, it's one of the spoilers, but I really believe that's what's going to happen. Next, we're going to go with Yara Greyjoy. Again, we have a lot of leaders, strong people, and there's just not room for all of them in the endgame. And I think Yara will be a casualty. We know that she gets abducted by Euron after battle. She's taken captive. I see potentially Theon trying to save her, but I don't think Yara makes it out of the situation. I think she's unnecessary. I think she's unnecessary after helping Theon get through his full circle and become himself again. I think he's going to try to help her, try to save her. I think when the battle where she's taken, I think he's going to run. And that's probably why he gets beaten up on a beach for running from battle. But I think he's going to make an effort to save Yara. I just don't think it's going to be successful. So next we're going to go with a dragon. And I think that one of the dragons will die this season. And I don't know if it'll be from the Night King or even Jaime Lannister kills one of the dragons. But I do believe that in order to make this more fair, as in more interesting for the end game, that one of the dragons has to die this season. There's been plenty of clues about this, so it's not going to shock me if Rhaegal or Viserion dies this season. Drogon's not going to die, at least not yet. So next we have Grey Worm. Again, we have too many chiefs and not enough Indians. And Grey Worm is one of Dany's top players, obviously. I think Dany's going to suffer some massive casualties, and Grey Worm, I feel, is going to be one of them. And from the previews, you have Missandei and Grey Worm picking their relationship up, but I think that's kind of a sentimental goodbye to Grey Worm. There's actually some photographs where Grey Worm is wearing a pin given to him by Dany, and then later on Missandei has his pin, so it looks like he's going to die, and that's going to be a gift to her. I believe that evidence stands strong and that Grey Worm will be no more. Next we have Master Manipulator, Littlefinger. Littlefinger is going to die this season. Littlefinger was one of the biggest catalysts for the War of the Kings. So Littlefinger will finally get his due. I believe it will be between the Stark sisters that will kill Littlefinger. I don't know who's going to kill him, but he is going to die. They know he's a rat. Sansa knows he's a rat, but probably still sees him as necessary at the beginning of the season. But Littlefinger is definitely going to die this season, as you can't have Cersei and Littlefinger running around wreaking havoc. We have way too many threats and directions, and it's time for Littlefinger's bullcrap to end and for him to be put down. That's going to happen this season. And finally, my very last prediction, Euron Greyjoy. I think Euron is going to be a beast and a monster this season. I think he's going to be completely brutal in fighting Theon and Yara. I think he's going to be invaluable to knocking out a lot of Daenerys' fleet. I think when he meets Cersei, they're going to have some interesting times there. I think Euron will be a complete monster, and he will either be put down by Jaime Lannister or Theon Greyjoy. Jaime obviously has that connection with Cersei, and if Euron marries Cersei or treats her poorly, Jaime will step in. Also, Theon might kill him as a result of Yara being taken captive. But Euron is going to absolutely wreak havoc. He is the big bad of this season. And one reason I don't think Cersei is going to die is because Euron will be defeated, and Cersei will continue to be the big bad. Cersei is always terrible, but then gets beaten down by somebody else, like the High Sparrow, and then comes back and is even worse. So I think this is just going to be one of those, and at the beginning of the season next year, that's Cersei's time, season 8. But not right now. It's going to be Euron. He could be completely brutal to Cersei, to anybody. And maybe Cersei will just have him killed. I don't know. But these are who I think are going to die this year. Please share your thoughts. Who are some of the characters that you think are going to die? I'm going to probably be doing some Game of Thrones reviews, maybe more predictions later in the season. I really enjoy the show, so I'm more of a casual fan than somebody who's well scripted and well versed in all the names and history. So I just have fun with it. But please let me know who you think's going to die in the comment section below. Give this video a like. I would really appreciate it. And thank you very much. Lethargic Sloth, out.